Yo. Hold up. I ain't even like that, man. It didn't start off right. We're going to do that again because I can't.
Intellectually petty radio on your stereo. Don't compare us to anything, this a different scenario. We break records while we pushing the culture forward. Great music and big vibes right in that order. Intellectually petty radio on the stereo. Don't compare us to anything, this a different scenario. We break records while we pushing the culture forward. Great music and big vibes right in that order.
And you are now tuned into another episode of Intellectually Petty Radio, brought to you by M3S3 Clothing. Men make moves and suckers stand still. And, as always, the Nerf DJs Radio. Shout out to the OG, DJ Johnny. Oh, and Big Hef and T-Rex. Y'all already know, man. This is Jobs and legends. That's all I fuck with around here. Y'all already know how I get down. And today is absolutely no exception. We got Royce Kinniebrew in the building, the diversity expert. Oh, we about to have a good one today, because y'all know I'm not the most diverse nigga on the planet. So let me get the brother here. What's
My
going
God.
on, bro?
Man, I like that. I ain't mad at you, bro. I am not
How you
mad
doing,
at you.
man? Oh, see, that's much better, man. You
Oh, no
now you
doubt.
look rich.
Yeah. I got the background, bro.
Right.
I just was running. Listen, 94, bro, was backed up, dude. I said, I didn't left what I had to do. I didn't got an hour early, and I'm sitting here on 94, bro. So I just ran up in here. My bad.
Oh man. Hey man, them Detroit freeways, man, be off the hook sometimes. I'm not even gonna lie, man. But man, getting on the lodge and doing like 100 and everybody else doing 100. It's just a beautiful thing. Sometimes it takes me a minute to get used to when I get
Yeah,
back
yeah,
home. You know,
absolutely.
how's your family, man? How's life?
Everything is good, brother. I can't complain. Everybody made it through I was about to, my immediate family made it through the pandemic. I had two aunts to pass. Um, but everything is well, brother. I can't complain. You know, things are going well. Business is going well. I can't complain, man. Still living out here on the east side of Detroit, man. So,
I'm sorry.
no, dog.
I'm
No.
sorry,
You don't
man.
be. See, here's the thing that you got to understand. There's nothing to be sorry about. If they text me several times a week trying to buy my house. Do you understand what I'm saying? It ain't no sorry if my house has the
I'm not
price.
mad at that. I'm not mad
Yes,
at that.
yes,
And
yeah.
I'm not ignoring you, bro. For some reason, like my shit, even though I in advance changed the names and everything, it keeps reverting back to the same name. So I had to figure out how to edit it on the fly each time. So if you are watching, I do apologize. It's Royce Kinniebrew and not the great director Darren Brown. I love the guy, but I want to make sure that Royce gets his proper respect. So my
Appreciate you.
apologies, but this is a technological issue and not a stupid issue on my part. Put
Listen,
that out
brother,
there.
ain't nobody perfect. Let's rock and roll.
So tell the people what you do for a living.
Well, bro, I do. I talk for a living, and I do that really in two different ways. One, for the last 19 years, I've been doing diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility programming for federal agencies, Department of Justice, ATF, DEA, NASA, Bureau of Engraving and Printing, Consumer Product Safety Commission, Department of the Army, Department of the Navy, and helping those folks at those agencies work to have better, more inclusive workplaces where everybody feels wanted. And then on my other end of the business, because I was a teacher for many years, I got over 20 years of educational experience where I taught fourth grade, fifth grade, seventh grade, eighth grade, dean of students, assistant principal, athletic director. I work with schools in a contract fashion now, just helping their students, parents, teachers, usually in the area of social and emotional learning, trauma-informed practices. I just want schools to work better for everybody involved, in particular little boys that look like me.
I like that. I like that. So how'd you get involved in this? And like first off, and me and you had a long ass discussion. And shout out to my cousin,
We,
man.
we had a show before the show.
Oh my God, love my cousin Theon. She is so passionate about diversity. And
Yeah.
she hit me up. And she rarely hits me up and say I got to interview somebody. She's like, you got to interview this guy. He'd be great on your show. I'm like, okay, 'cause I'd interview a potato if you ask me. Cause however, I looked him up. And I'm like, okay, dude's kind of interested. Give him a call. Oh, okay, all right. He can talk some shit. Okay, and he ain't mad that I'm talking some shit back. I think it's
No
gonna be a good
way.
conversation. Well, some people get a little tender about shit. But
Like I
what
said,
made you get into the diversity? Like Detroit is not the most diverse community on the planet.
absolutely, brother. That's why the majority of the work I do for the federal government, I think out of the 100+ sessions that I have had, programs that I've had, maybe one or two have been in Metro Detroit. The rest have been either, the vast majority have been in Washington, D.C., or satellite offices of some of the different bureaus. So, like I did DEA in Puerto Rico. I did, who was I? I did like,
See, that's the DEA fucking with you right there, bro.
they ain't messing with me. They ain't nothing to mess with me about, dog. Listen, if they messing with me, they practicing. Because there ain't no reason for them to mess with me, dog.
What's the
Yeah,
response from them though? Like,
Huh?
come on, like you got a whole bunch of, I don't, I'm trying to be polite, cops, who are probably for the most part required to take the course. So
Yeah,
they tight about that. Like,
yeah.
what's the response you getting from them?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I work more on the civil side, so I
Okay,
work with the folks who don't have the badge 99% of the time. Now,
okay,
there is a part of what I do for the bad side, but I don't do that. I don't mess with the police officers and like the feds, like the FBI, ATF. I don't mess with their agents in regards to their training for their, when they're on the scene and when they're doing their work. I don't mess with them. I work with the folks in regards to when they come back to the house, when they come back to the building, the headquarters, or to their satellite office. They know how to talk to people. They know how to treat people, no matter if they're black or white, if they're a woman, if they're a man, if they're, what have you. So that's the part of the business I do.
so it's more you're dealing with
Civil
trying,
servants.
trying to teach them how to deal with their colleagues as opposed to the people that they are
Yeah.
serving and protecting.
Both actually. I want to make sure that if you could treat your coworker nice, then the people on that phone you ought to be able to treat nice as well. And I talk to people about trauma, man. Trauma is a big deal. This pandemic had us so isolated and so wound up, man. Kids' grades went down nationwide, violence went up nationwide, and nobody's getting no counseling and think it's gonna get better. So, I talk about that too in the schools and with the federal agencies.
What happens when it don't work? How do you feel?
Oh, shoot, brother, listen to me. It's the way that I look at it is that there's nothing that always works, right? Nothing always works, especially when you talk about training and stuff like that. There are going to be times when stuff don't work. There are going to be times when people in there don't want it to work. There's going to be times when, it's just a check. But the thing about it is you got to put forth the effort to help people that want to help themselves and to give them some information so they can make the places where they work and the places where they live better. I feel you, man. It don't always work.
All right, so you walk into my office and it's 77% black folks in there, and we got three white dudes. And what
What's
are
the
you
what's the other
telling?
percentage? What's the other percentage of people? You got 77 black and 3 white dudes. Who else in there?
I don't know. It's a Puerto Rican guy
That's
and
okay.
I don't know, an Asian fella.
There it is.
But what are you telling us? Like, how do you start? Like, walk me through a session.
Like if I came into an office like that, the first thing that you got to know, bro, is that you got to do your homework on your audience. You got to know, like I always tell people who's going to be in there, what's their content knowledge, what's their background, what's their makeup. When I know that if I came into a room 77% African American, it's going to most likely be a more hospitable room to what I'm trying to teach. And so I would go in there and I always check the room. I always ask questions and I always look to build rapport first because my stuff will change based on the knowledge base and the people that's in the room,
Okay.
right? Because I got to
Okay.
give them what they need to be better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, if we in Detroit and you come in there and you say that we are African American and you don't say we black, I'm looking at you sideways.
It's either or. What's the difference?
It is a difference.
What's the
It,
difference?
it when you around black folks and you say African American, you trying to be politically correct.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Well, I
black,
got.
like black is like a professional nigga. Like that's like give me some dap, as opposed to a handshake verbally.
I listen. I feel that, but because I try to present what I do all the time, I use the term African American. I will use the
Do we
term
give you the
black.
most pushback? I'm
Huh?
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but do we give you the most pushback, black folks?
Not really. Not really. See, where I'm at, if I'm in a government agency, like for instance, I was in a government, I was at NASA. I was there to do the MLK keynote lecture, and they want to do a lunch and learn. So I was with the director, I was with the assistant director, and all the division heads in a lunch and learn at Kennedy Space Center at NASA. At a
Wow.
place like that, ain't no pushback, because there ain't too much African Americans in there. And even when I'm with African Americans, they don't push back because I come in, I build rapport, and second of all, I show them how what I'm telling them can be a benefit, can be a help to them, and everybody wants to be helped.
Okay, and then you got and like that level, they code switching hella hard.
Man,
Hi, Tom.
listen, man. If you up in a government agency and you a GS 13, GS 14, GS 15, dude, you making $190,000. You're making 210. If you go SES, you're gonna be $200,000. And so when you get to that point, you are trying to make sure you dot your I's, cross your
Yeah,
T's, be correct, do your job, keep it moving, and retire. That's what
yeah,
civil servant jobs are about,
yeah.
from what I
And you
see.
living your life like you being watched and making that type of money as a brother or
You
sister.
are.
You are. Yeah.
Absolutely, brother.
I mean, even when you leave the building.
Listen, I've been in the intelligence agencies, bro, and it's not a game. Now, it's TV, it's movies. Now, think 30, 40 years past what you see on TV. That's what it is. Ain't no foolishness, brother. Ain't no
Yeah,
foolishness. I done been
I
in
know.
several of them.
I'm very like I say some wild shit, but I say some politically correct wild shit. Like I think on Facebook or social media, I'm conscious that what I say may be dug up in a decade.
See, let me tell you something. You say the right thing, ain't no dug up. If you say the right thing,
Yeah.
they're listen. You remember now? This is a true story. I had a Black History MLK program in NSA. You remember that movie Enemy of the State with Will Smith in it?
Yeah. And Gene
Now,
Hackman.
yes. Now listen to me. You say something on your phone, you say something on this computer, you say something with your laptop power off that hit the four keywords together,
Yeah.
brother. It ain't no dug up. You dug yourself up. They
Yeah.
listening. You
Yeah.
think they're not?
I know they are. Like like
And when they see you in the threat, they're gonna keep it moving.
there was a crime committed, and unbeknownst to these criminals, It wasn't their cell phone, wasn't any of that. They were able to literally visually tell them what every stop they made. Like so, which is bizarre because so many crimes go unsolved. If they
And that's
really wanted to solve every crime, they could with ease.
it's those resources. It's what are those intelligence resources allocated for? If they're allocated for national security, they're not supposed to be doing any spying on U.S. citizens. That's how the story that I was telling you about. I was in NSA during that Richard Snowden time, and the people that were got in trouble. That I was sitting in the room with them jokers up in the NSA building on Fort Meade, and 4 months later they was all on TV on 60 Minutes, and I was like, oh my God, I was in the room with them jokers. And so it's real, bro. It's real. I feel very secure, um, especially when I'm in DC and I'm up in one of the buildings. I'll just put it like that.
You think was he a gift or a curse?
What?
Snowden. I know. I don't want to get you in trouble, bro. If you want to move past that one, I'm sorry, but
I'm
I
gonna
had
tell
to
you,
ask
dog.
that.
The only thing I can say, did he break the law? If he broke the law, he broke the law, and I think he did break the law. So that's what I can say. But on the other end, the country was breaking the law because you had this surveillance program. Listen, do you know that laptops that were powered off, cell phones that were powered off, not that they were not that the lid was shut down, but they were powered off, were able to get video and get sound. And that's what was going on. And that's what Richard Snowden let out the bag. So I will tell you in my official capacity, don't break the law, but I also will tell that to the federal government too.
I feel you on that, man. Somebody got to fall on their sword every so often,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm glad he fell on his sword, but I don't think it changed anything.
No, I'll tell you that the to change something, it's real hard because you have to do systemic change. You have to do
Yeah,
system change.
yeah,
People change isn't really that big of a change sometimes,
no,
unless you do system change. Because you could sometimes they just replace people, but the
yeah.
system stays the same, so it does continues to do the same thing.
So what's the goal for you? Like, are you is this are you, do you want to retire doing diversity, or like I'm thinking you should run for office?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, for me, man, my goal. I believe that first of all, I look back in my history, and I look back when did I need the most help. And so that high school, that end of high school time, that beginning of college time, and so with a lot of my K-12 educational part and the mentoring that I do through athletics, man, I attempt to create kids that can navigate these systems and navigate these pitfalls. I don't want them to get bumped on the head like I did. That's one part of what I think that I was put on this planet to do. The other part, in regards to the diversity, equity, and inclusion part, you know, running for office is something that I could see in my future because I could bring a whole historical, philosophical, empirical background to some of these discussions that would really help people. Because I'll give you an example. You know what they do over on Fox News. Say, for instance, Tucker Carlson and Hannity, when they say to people that don't take the vaccine is this, that, or the other, and people don't take it, people like really do die. You know what I'm saying? They actually do die from that. Now I'm not
No,
gonna get too deep into it, and some people believe it, some people don't. But I'm gonna tell you this: is that if you say stuff that is disseminated in a huge manner and it hurts people, dog, that's not good, dude. That's
I'm
not
gonna
good.
disagree with you wholeheartedly on that singular point, though. I first off, they put something out there and were completely insulated against any repercussions if shit went haywire. You can't sue them, you can't do anything. It's just out there, and then they making you take it. And
Yeah,
now
nobody got made to take it. Come on, dog. You know ain't nobody getting made to take it.
there's a lot of people that lost their jobs because no, they weren't made to take it. They had an option, take it or
Yeah,
be unemployed. And in some areas they had to hire those people back.
yeah.
And they are also finding out, like I interviewed a physician about this, and he was actually a proponent of people getting it, but he also said that if you had COVID at some point,
Mhm.
that your immunization after about 6 months, your immunization was the same as someone who had gotten the jab,
Hmm.
and they weren't telling people that. And a lot of people had gotten. Most people get COVID. They get COVID are fine. They
Hmm.
get sick. I got COVID. I didn't get sick, but I'm just lucky. Some people get sick. Some people get really sick. Some people get the flu and die. Some people get a common cold and their head falls off. I'm exaggerating. However, you get what I'm saying. Like
Hmm.
I think in that particular point, there wasn't enough research. There wasn't enough insight on what they were demanding that people take. I could understand the hesitance from the, and I hate that I'm
Oh yeah.
agreeing with fucking Tucker Carlson.
Listen. I don't have a problem with anybody's concern in regards to medical. See, that's why I talk about the historical point. Now, I know history. And so I ain't just talking about the syphilis. I'm just not just talking about the Tuskegee. I'm talking about it's way more than that in
Yes, it
regards
is.
to black folks being experimented on in medical issues and stuff
Yes,
that's relevant today.
yes.
All of that still being true, I look at it like this: we all took all of our shots to get into school. Ain't nobody mama, nobody daddy, nobody big mama know nothing in them. Know what's in them, right? And we did that. Now, if you decided you didn't want to do it, that was on you. And listen, I don't blame nobody because I understand the trepidation, but I rolled the dice personally. I just rolled the dice. I'm not gonna shame nobody for wanting to take it, none of that, or for not wanting to take it. But
If
I'm
it
saying,
works though, you shouldn't have a problem if I don't take it because you good.
oh, no doubt, no doubt, no
Yeah,
doubt,
like
no
that.
doubt. Yeah.
The whole well, if you don't take it, you're gonna ruin the planet. No, bro, you good. You took it. Why are you worried about me?
Well, here's the other thing I think too. I think that so many people got it. I think that I think probably close to a high 90 percentile. I think we're in herd immunity now because if the people didn't take it, you'd have got it, and you just didn't have no symptoms of it. Because if you could have it and not have no symptoms, that means everybody could have had it, right? I know I had it
Facts.
like multiple times. I know I had it like at least twice, and so it's all good. And I know that because I've been vaccinated and the way that my health is that I should be pretty straight and I won't check out. So that's the biggest thing for me.
What do you think this country is gonna look like in 100 years, diversity wise?
Oh man, it's probably gonna be 65, 70% people of color. It's gonna be 50% people of color in 15, 20 years. So you talk about 70 years, you talk about it might be 70, 75, maybe 80% people of color up in here, man.
And see, that's another term I never use. I don't put any. It's black folks and others, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Go ahead, explain it to me.
Other communities stick together
True.
and they align themselves with white people in how they view us. They may use people of color when it benefits them. When there's something that the government that will give to people of color, yeah, they'll take that people of color tag. But go to their store and you a nigga.
Uh,
Try to marry their daughter. You a nigga.
I could get with that for some groups of people. Yeah, especially some when it cuts it on the religious base because sometimes it's more than just race. It's race and religion and culture. And so I could get with you on. I could agree with that on some point. But there's some Latinx people. There's some cats. There's some cats in the barrio who catching it just like me, and they really relate to me, and they intermarry with us. So but not everybody, and I
Yeah,
know what you're talking about. There are some people that don't rock with us and have
at all.
a adversarial relationship with black folk, and I get that, but I use it to encompass everybody, so I don't have to say black, Asian, Latinx, Korean, Japanese, blah blah. That's why I say it, bro.
Most of them really, really hate us.
Listen,
I'm gonna keep it a buck.
I've seen the best of people, and I've seen the worst of people, so I can't disagree.
I mean, well, when you go do your thing,
Hmm.
people have to be on their best behavior. You're not going to their neighborhood.
Right.
You're going to their place of employment,
Sure.
and you're
Yeah.
not going to the janitors.
Yeah.
You're going to the elites of the place of employment. Those people
and, and,
that
and
are
the regular and the
schooled.
yeah, and the rank and file staff. Agree. But you get the microaggressions. You get the people on their phone rolling their eyes. Oh, you get all of that, bro.
Do
And
you
so
call
you
them
have,
out?
huh?
Do you call them out?
Um, Basically, the way that I play it is this: you're not going to get an ally by calling somebody out directly, right? You're not going to get an ally. The way that I do it, bro, and is that you'll be driving home in your car 2 weeks later and be catching what I'm saying because I slide it in there so slick. And because you can't make people think that that you are against them, that they are the problem. You got to show them as the remedy, right? You got to show them as a potential answer to the problem, right? And in the research that talks about diversity, equity, and inclusion, accessibility programs, you have to go in, show them how they're the answer and how you need behavior and systems changes. If you go in and say you the problem,
But what
man,
if they
it's
the problem?
uh that you can get them as an ally if you go in and change systems and tell them how they could be an answer. Everybody wants to be an answer. Nobody wants to be a problem. And even though they might be the problem, they'll change from being the problem when they find out, I could be the answer here. I'm not a bad guy. I like Shaniqua. She's
Man,
cool. I like Kiwan. He cool. You know what I'm saying?
you
So
the most optimistic motherfucker I have ever come across, bro.
listen to me. I don't say that it all works, bro. And I'm not saying that it's working right now. I'm telling you that there are I go down to as small as each one teach one. Now I am in contact with African American boys 4 or 5 times a week where I mentor them, show them what they need to do to navigate this American experience. That's thing number one.
Okay.
Thing number two is I go inside schools to work with staff to help them to teach a population that's diverse with black boys, black girls. That's thing number two. Thing number three, I go into federal agencies to help them get their agency together so people can be happy at their job. That's thing number three. And the other thing is, I leave the rest in the hands of God, bro, because you can only do so much.
Yo, I would. I'm not even gonna lie, man. I'm fearful for my grandkids, the world
Oh
that,
man.
that I'm leaving them. I would absolutely, under no circumstances, want to be a teacher. Like I see these kids ain't shit nowadays, bro. Oh, I fuck them kids, man. I hate these kids. Let me back up. These parents ain't shit. Like they are using the school system to babysit these badass kids that they don't want to raise correctly at home, and then
Now,
blame other people when your kids do dumb shit.
now let me explain it to you. I'm gonna explain it to you from my background. I'm gonna
Okay.
explain to you why I was supposed to be crazy as hell. My mom got mental illness, dog, when I was in middle school.
Okay.
My dad wasn't in the picture. We was poor as HELL, right? All of that is a rest. I grew up on the east side of Detroit in the 80s.
Ooh.
I know about White Boy Rick, Maserati Rick, Best Friends, the Curry Brothers, the BMF got all I grew up in that era right there,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Everything I had every every check against me I had messed up, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't ask my mama who was had mental illness, and that was just her issue. Now, some kids might have had a mama who was on crack. Some
Mm-hmm.
people might have had a mama who was trifling, or another mama who was doing the best she could, but was working double shifts and had to leave a kid there 8 hours by themselves. The reason why people are the way they are is because something happened to them to make them that way. When you look at it from that way,
Mm-hmm.
when you look at it that way, something is wrong with him, her, because something made him that way. Then you start saying it ain't his fault. And then when you look at kids, because I was a kid at Cass Tech, shooting firecrackers down in the garbage can, shooting skyrockets down the hallway, skipping class, because I had a home that
Mm-hmm.
had drastically changed because my mother's mental illness.
Okay.
And because I had these, what's called now, I know, because I know trauma informed practices, adverse childhood experiences, and I'm acting out because my home is off the hook.
Right.
And then when you find out the stories, you be like, really? You
Yeah.
you you got to. It's a whole compassion part, bro.
Bruh, if you break into my motherfucking house, I don't care what your mama did.
Oh well, yeah. You come up in here, yeah. It's it's
I,
imminent
and,
domain, bro. You got
and
to.
I see some of the shit that you see online with some of the stuff that these kids be saying to these teachers and
Oh
doing to
yeah.
these teachers, and then it only really makes the news when the teacher snaps.
I could. Yeah.
And some of these kids just need their ass beat.
You know, all of that won't work for all the kids. I'm gonna
It
tell you
won't.
for real. You can beat them
But you
down.
you beat one up, and the rest of them will be like, okay, yeah, I know he'll beat somebody up.
What? You do got a good left jab.
Right.
He did put that combo together good. I won't disagree with that, but I'm gonna tell you what I did.
Okay.
I did, and it's what I teach in schools right now. It's about relationships. Right now, I can go into. I've gone into the toughest schools in Detroit.
Okay.
The first thing I do is not tell them why I'm here, is to get to know who it is that they are. So I'll just go through something. I say, you know what, man, before I get started, I just want to check the birthdays. I want to know because, somebody might have my birthday or my mama's birthday or something. All right,
Mm-hmm.
January birthdays, raise your hand. Ask them, okay, what's your name? And your birthday is on what day? And I go through the whole year. And what that clicks inside of their mind is saying that he actually cares about something beside what he came here to talk to me about. And he
Okay.
cares of me as a person. All kids want to be liked and want to be instructed and directed by somebody who they think cares about them. And
I
so
would
I
agree.
go through a couple of those things, take me 10, 15 minutes, dog, and I can teach them what I want to teach.
Yeah. I guess because you care.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Some of us
And, and,
don't.
and if you don't, uh, go do something else because that
Yeah.
ain't the place for you.
That's why I'm nowhere in near nobody's kids.
Listen, because they will expose kids. Kids will expose you.
And I'm talking shit, man. I actually do. I kind of give a shit, man. I try to.
You listen. You listen. If you grew up as a black man in America, you got to care about other black kids, especially black boys growing up 20,
Yeah.
30, 40 years behind us. They got it rough. It's deep.
Well, you know what? I will say that one thing that my generation lacks is accountability. We act as if I say this all the time. We act as if these kids fell out the fucking sky.
No,
They
they
didn't
didn't fall
fall
out the
out the
sky. They
sky.
fell out
They
your house.
exactly.
Yeah, they fell
There is
out your
something
house.
that we did or did not do that we refuse to take accountability for that got us to this point.
I agree. I
You
agree.
know.
Not enough people, whether it be in the church house, whether it be in the organization, whether it be in the schoolhouse, whether it be in the AAU, whatever. Not enough people stood up and are standing up to say, you know what? Somebody got to care about these people. Somebody got to care about these kids, these disadvantaged people. There's people who are poor, these people who are low wealth. Somebody got to step up and start caring about people outside of their family. It's easy to step up and say, okay, I'm gonna take care of my family. But what about people outside of your family? That's not easy to do,
It is
right?
not.
That's not easy to do.
You know, although I will say, like, if you care about your kids, then you at the very minimum you're gonna care about their friends.
Yeah, true story.
And that's one thing. Like with my daughters, they 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 got a best friend. If you got a best
Hmm.
friend, that best friend is one of my kids too.
Hmm. How old
And
are your kid? Are your daughters?
oh jeez, what is that? My kids are all grown. I got
Oh,
six
okay.
grandkids.
Oh, okay.
What
Okay.
is Jennifer? Jennifer be what 33 this year, I think.
Mm.
I stopped counting really. It just makes me feel older and shit. But I got to keep up with my grandkids now.
Oh,
My
wow.
oldest grandkid is 13.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. There it
yeah. And
is.
my youngest just turned 1.
There it is.
And
Okay.
that's some humbling shit, man.
I
I'm
can
not even.
imagine.
Oh my god! And then like
Yeah.
my oldest, like we have a lot of things. She's a lot like me,
Uh,
So it's it's just, man. Don't get me started, bro. That'll be
right.
a whole nother
Right.
fucking conversation.
Yeah.
Um, which school do you? Matter of fact, what school did you graduate from, Cass?
I graduated from Ketter. Cass kicked my butt out.
Oh wow, Kettering. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. I'm
Oh,
still. Hey, I'm like
Kettering's trash,
Antoine
bro.
Fisher. I'm still standing. I'm
I
still
feel you on that,
strong.
but it was in spite of Kettering.
Let me tell you something, bro.
My
I
cousins went to
remember.
Kettering.
I remember looking out the window, seeing a shootout, straight movie style. The
I
dude
believe you.
busting, and you see the dust popping up off the ground. Right, the dude running across the front of Ketter.
I
So,
believe you. Yeah, like my cousins grew up on Seminole and Maxwell.
oh yeah.
Yeah, right off of Gratiot.
Oh really? On which
Yes,
side? On the Belle Isle side or the freeway side?
the freeway side.
Oh, I know them.
Yeah, yeah. We used to I was like when they stayed on Maxwell because my mother grew up in that house on Maxwell.
Oh wow.
Her and her siblings.
What's the last
So
name?
Boyd.
I'm, I,
My cousins were Rice.
okay.
Yeah, but
Okay.
man, like that was man. We had some times over there. Let's just put it
Oh,
that way, man.
absolutely.
So I'm very familiar. I went to Ford. And I was glad I did not go to Kettering because I used
Oh,
to see.
dog. Listen, dog. Quit acting highfalutin because you went to Ford. They was crazy over there too.
Yeah, but it was sophisticated.
No, it wasn't.
It
But you
was
got what the bullet had Gucci cologne on it? What's
absolutely
sophisticated about it?
no. It had Lagerfeld.
Yeah. See, y'all do too much there with that east side, west side. You know we both from either side. It was tough. 80s and 90s in Detroit.
Oh my
Woo, come
goodness,
on,
man.
man.
Do you,
Just
do you,
I'm blessed to be. I'm blessed that we both made it up out of there. In
is
regards
it
to
getting
keeping our
worse?
wits.
Is it getting worse?
Um, yes and no. Detroit, like you said, you are correct about the in regards to the segregated nature. And like my area where I'm at now, East English Village, over by Grosse Point, over by St. John's Hospital, is becoming a little gentrified. And so people trying to buy my house and getting certain pockets and neighborhoods together. And if your neighborhood together, you're straight. But in the neighborhoods that are not together, it could be pretty tough, bro. Because if you don't have jobs and education, there is no hope. And if you don't have no hope, then hopeless people are terrifying. They're worse than Mike Tyson with a machete. With no hope, they'll do anything, in my opinion.
Now, one of the worst things, the most frightening thing I've ever seen in Detroit was a white man walking down Woodward with a fucking poodle.
Oh yeah, I've seen. I think I may have even seen that dude.
That's when you know that your city is no longer your city,
Oh
and
yeah,
Detroit, as far as black people go, it's hard to explain to other black people from other cities
no,
because they look at Detroiters as arrogant, and it's not that we're arrogant; it's that even when you fuck up and you go to court, your judge is black most of the time. The
yeah,
DA is black. Your attorney is black, whether you pay for them or they free. Like
Mm-hmm.
the system is black. So that
Yeah.
gives you a sense of strength, a sense of knowing who you are and knowing the greatness that you can become. Like you
Yeah.
can see the projects, but you can
Mm-hmm.
also go to Indian Village, or
Oh
you can
wow.
also go to Sherwood Forest, or you can
Yes.
also go to Rosedale Park, and you can see black folks getting it.
Yeah. Detroit had the up until I think it was around 2000. Detroit had the largest black middle class in the country.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it just it gives you a sense of strength that you just can't explain. You have to
Yeah.
go elsewhere to really understand the difference between Detroiters and other blac people,
And
respectfully.
they don't even understand in DC when they call it Chocolate City, where in Prince George's County and in certain areas of Maryland, I think 7 out of the 10 most affluent black neighborhoods are in Maryland, are in
Oh
that
wow.
DMV, yeah, area, in that DC, Maryland, Virginia area, and they still don't understand it like we understand it. You know?
I didn't know that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I just listen. One of my friends is who's from Detroit. She is a professor at a tenured professor at Howard. Now her house was wonderful. I didn't want to leave her house and come back. You know what I'm saying? It was spectacular. Her whole neighborhood, you know. Yeah, you got some very because of the federal government and because of that region. I mean, you got black folks making $250,000.
Yeah,
Young,
it's
30s,
expensive as
40s.
fuck to live there though too.
Oh yeah, it's expensive. Yeah, you're gonna pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Oh
gonna
my
pay.
God.
Oh yeah.
Let me ask you. So you get a young kid,
hmm
smart kid,
hmm
bright future.
hmm
He comes to you and he says, "Should I go to a HBCU?
hmm
Should I go to a PWI?
Mm.
What do you think?"
I'm gonna tell him, ask him what's important to you. I'm
Okay.
gonna, I'm gonna ask him to take out the paper, put down pros and cons for both PWI and HBCUs. Let's talk about it, and then we're gonna talk about how does it fit you and how does it fit your goals. That's what I'm gonna do because they call Howard the Mecca for a reason, because you come up out of there, you position very well to get as any job at any place anywhere as you came out of Stanford or you came out of an Ivy League school. Same thing with FAM. Same thing with Hampton. Some of the schools in the Atlanta area. So you have to break it down and say what is your goal. What do you want to accomplish? How do you feel about this? Do you need this? Do you think there would be a more supportive environment for you? They're not definitely not the same. You know what I'm saying? I would help them pro and con it out and tell them, hey, if you do this, you're gonna get this and get that. If you do this, you're gonna get this and get that, right? And so you just got to know where you want your sweet spot to be.
Because if I could go back, that's one of the things I would change. Because I never graduated,
Mm-hmm,
and I would go to an HBCU because I was very intelligent,
mm-hmm.
but I was so smart so early on that I had absolutely no discipline.
Hmm.
And when you get to the PWIs, they don't give a fuck about you. They just want your check. And I'm in the
Well,
class with 500 other people. I went to Michigan State.
oh,
I'm
I
in the
got you.
class with 500 other people, and you just an ID number. Whereas if you go to HBCU, they
That.
recognize you, things in you. Like I had my 12th grade English teacher, Teresa Carroll, best teacher
Mm-hmm,
I've ever had.
mm-hmm,
She recognized the greatness that I possessed,
mm-hmm.
and she taught to my personality.
Sure.
And I never got that after that
So why do you think that doesn't happen at a PWI?
because they don't have the opportunity. They don't have the space. They don't have the time. Like say
Yes,
what you
yes, they do. How you know? How you know? I'm telling
well,
you, I went to the University of
my
Iowa.
teachers didn't.
Huh? I went
My
to the
teachers
University of
didn't.
Iowa. Listen, there were some. If it wasn't for some of the white teachers at the University of Iowa, I may not have graduated. They did some stuff um, to help me that was extraordinary, and a lot of my help came from people that didn't look like me, bro. I'm just gonna
I
tell you.
I, I didn't get that at all, bro.
Well, I could get that. You got the whole problem. There were times, listen, bro, when I ran out of money, um, and people, whether they were Latinx, whether they were black, they helped me, and that's what I write. That's why I talk about that in my book, dude. That's why I wrote my book so that people can understand that you got to judge. You got to come into understanding that there can be a race problem. There can be a gender bias problem. There can be a social economic status problem, right? But you gotta check everybody else out for yourself to see how that person relates to you. And there were some people who were who looked like me, who didn't help me as much, and there were some people who didn't look like me who helped me, and then there's some who did look like me who helped me a lot. And so you got to find the sweet spot in that's gonna work for you, because um, there's a black alumni, Big Ten Black Alumni Network that I'm a part of on Facebook. So you got black people who went to Indiana, who went to Ohio State, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, all of those who all in the same place, and we got the same experience. Is that, and there are people there who did their undergrad at a PWI and did their at an HBCU. They say, I thank you for both experiences. Okay. They talk about the pros and cons of both experience. Like for me, I did both of my deals. One of my deals, my undergrad was University of Iowa, was a PWI. My Marygrove master's degree up there on 6 Mile in Wyoming, I was in class with the majority of the people in class were African American. The majority of my faculty members were black, right? Had some white faculty members. So it wasn't a HBCU, but it was a HBCU feeling. Yeah, it was the feeling.
Yeah,
and so,
I get you.
Yeah.
So, damn. Oh man, you made me lose.
You asked about
your book.
Yeah.
Your book. What's the name of your book, bro?
The Ghetto Grave Dodger. Semicolon. How social and emotional learning can address trauma, decrease violence, and help struggling schools.
And where do we get that book?
Amazon.com. Put in my name, put in the book title. Boop. It'll pop right on up.
Bro, you gotta lead with that shit.
Yeah.
Like, start off with the book.
Okay. The book's gangster.
Yeah, plug your shit, bro.
Absolutely, man. And listen to me. I'm going to tell you, I'm to the point now where I'm really, when I leave here, they're going to say, he did try to help some folk. That's it at this point for me. Listen, I've had so much fun and so many experience, so much travel, did a lot of stuff, still a lot of things that I want to do, and I ain't trying to check out tomorrow. But I've done some stuff where I want to be able to help people especially who come from the experience that I came from. That's important to me. And that's why I wrote the book, man. It's like a workbook for people who want success coming from a disadvantaged position. That's basically why I wrote it.
Okay, we ain't got about 10 more minutes, but most proud moment, like the kid that touched you the most, that has come back and you've seen the greatest change.
The last one has to be one of my track and field athletes who was struggling in high school. I remember one time he said, "Coach, I can't come to practice this week. I gotta sell some weed so I can get our lights back on." That's what he told me flat out. And I was like, I understand, dude. I what can I do? You got to do what you got to do. I wanted to, there's nothing you can do. You know what I'm saying? And so he did what he had to do. He did what he had to do, got his lights on, helped his parents, graduated, went to college, got a scholarship, went to the military, came back and said, if it wasn't for you, I don't know if I would have made it. Period. Took me out to Buffalo Wild Wings. That's just one. I got another. I got so many. I got another one. Just posted on Facebook. She's doing some teaching science, and she said, I'm thinking back on the times when I was in Mr. Kinniebrew's class to teach me how to do what I'm doing right now. That stuff means a lot, man.
Yeah, man. Somebody it made me think of somebody told me I don't know, last year or sometime. that just randomly inboxed me and was like, I just wanted to thank you because one day you told me I deserved it. And that has stuck with me because she got a new position and she was scared about the shit. And I was like, why are you scared? You deserve the shit. You worked hard for it. Be you. Be great. And that was it. I didn't think nothing else. I forgot we even had the fucking conversation.
Sure.
And here it is, like 2 years later, she comes just randomly inboxes me just to say that stuck with me and propelled me, and I wasn't even trying.
Yeah, and I think that is the beauty of it is when you are not trying, but you don't know how powerful certain things are that you do and you say to people. So that's why I'm really big on what the book talks about, the social and emotional learning, the emotional intelligence, learning how to understand my emotions, how to manage myself, how to work well with people and work well in teams and make good decisions, man. It's important for success. And that's why I talk about it all in the book.
Worst decision you've made?
Man. Worst decision I made. Man, I don't even know. Worst decision I made. Because I'm to a place now, bro. Honestly, it's either a blessing or a lesson. And so
Oh, you done woke up with a gremlin or something before, bro. You didn't had a bad decision. We all had.
oh well, I mean some bro. I can't disclose that kind of stuff on the internet. Yeah, you tripping. But let me say it like this. There's
You gonna call my cousin like that nigga is nuts. So what's wrong with you?
Hey, there's nothing new under the sun, brother. What has befallen other men, I would just say has befallen me as well. But I can't, those type of things.
I'm just fucking with you, man. But just on some real shit. Like, is there just something like if you could go back and you're like,
if I
man,
can go back and do it again,
yeah.
If I can go back and do it again, I wish that I wish I had told people at Cass what was going on in my life, and they would have helped me, and that could have helped me there and to a certain trajectory. But I still did end up going to a PWI. I still ended up graduating and still having certain. But I think that made it did something different. I'm gonna be. Here's one of the big ones. Is that I was really a good athlete. I was the level right before freakish.
Okay.
And I made a lot of bad decisions there on quitting playing football in high school, not walking on football in college, not running track in college. That I regret. That I really, really regret, because everything else that I made a mistake on, I can come back from because it's not time or age related. My athletic ability is now gone.
Yeah.
It's gone, bro.
Yeah.
So that's a big one.
I went to Cash for 1 year. And
what year?
Jeez, what was it? 85?
Okay.
85, 86. And actually, Dion's, I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to call her that, Patricia's, her sister went to Cass, my cousin, Angie. That was my homegirl.
No doubt.
And so she was a couple of grades before me. I'm like, oh shit, it's about to be lit. I'm about to walk up in this piece and we good. And she ain't know nobody. I was like, what?
Yeah.
She was such a quiet person. Right. That was not me. And I walked in that bitch stomping.
Yeah.
Like, I went to the senior trip with her classmates.
Oh wow.
Yes, well, actually, it was a junior trip. I think.
Yeah.
But with her classmates, like I was lit.
Yeah. See, that's the thing about Cass, man, is that you got to have your head on tight, because Cass, dude, back when I was there the year of 83, 84, the campus was open, and it was the old building. People was going downtown for lunch. People just chilling in the
Cass Corridor still had bumps.
Yeah, Cass Corridor had bumps. It's cleaned up now because
that shit was horrible.
Listen, dude. Listen, Cass was a whole different monster, dog. And so you had to have your head on, and my head wasn't on, man, because of what I had going on at the crib. And so I wish I would have reached out to a counselor and told her what I had going on. And maybe things could have been different that way. But I just look at it as a lesson, and it's something that I can tell the young people that I mentor and deal with that they can make it too.
I will say that was a mistake on my mother's part, allowing me to leave Cass.
Why did you? Why did you leave? Why did you want to leave?
Because I wanted to go back to Ford. I wanted to go to Ford. Like that
That
was
was
my
your neighborhood school.
yeah. So all my boys was going to Ford. I went to Ford and I was like,
Right.
that was our stomping ground.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But in looking back, as far as the trajectory of my life, that was a bad move.
Mm-hmm.
Like Cass is a really good school.
Oh
and
man,
Cass definitely cultivates greatness.
it does. Cass Renaissance.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. So that would be one thing. Like if I could go back, I would just stick it out. And it allowed me the ability to quit for a while. Going forward without repercussions in my mind. Like
Right.
it took me a while to get to the point where quitting was unacceptable to me.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get that in you, anything is possible.
Yes, sir. Yeah. 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 I tell people, man, that your success is not going to be because you're smart. Your
No,
success is going because your goals are clear and you don't stop. That's it.
man.
That's just plain it. And that's what I'm
Yes.
trying to equate to these kids, because whenever it gets difficult, dog, they looking for the easy route. They're looking for it to be easy. Oh, why we got to do this? Why we got to do this? I be at practice, I be laying it on them. I be laying it on them. And today was another day I laid it on them. I said, listen, dude, if you got to go, because they're kids, I coach at Cass. And so there are kids who are come through Cass who are now pros, in the NFL.
Yeah.
And I tell them, I said, listen, I talked to him today. I said, your goals has to be, you have to set high goals and don't be afraid of the pain that's going to come to try to achieve that goal. Because if you don't want the pain, all success is on the other side of pain and suffering. Plain and
Man.
simple. You got to give it up.
And pain is inevitable. You could be fat and have pain,
Yep.
or you could be in shape and have pain. It's up to you.
It's up to you. It's up to you. You could be swole as the Michelin Man, or you could be cut up. You experience some pain either way.
That fat pain is different than that skinny pain. Trust me.
It sure is. Boy, I do, man. Listen, I got up to 222, and I was like, what is all of this feeling, dude?
Goodness, man.
Clothes was looking all strange. I said, not me. I dropped that,
No
dog.
comment. And shout out to Roseanne Rodriguez. She said, great interview. I like this interview. Interesting black man. Shout out to Caesar. Anybody else is tapped in, I don't really be paying attention until after the show. So my bad if I ignored you. It wasn't intentional. Blame somebody else, not me. If people want to get in contact with you, bro, how they go about doing that?
Oh, they can just reach out. My name, Royce Kinniebrew at gmail.com, spelled RoyceKinnieBrew at gmail.com, or they can go to my website at THERDKGROUP.com. That's the RDKgroup.com. And then they can go on Amazon.com, put my name in, and get the book, man. It will definitely be helpful no matter what stage of life that you're in.
All right. And one more time before we go, what's the name of the book?
The Ghetto Grave Dodger. Just put that in, dog. You're going to get it.
That sounds like a movie. I've interviewed a couple of directors, too. You never know.
Never know, bro.
All right, bro. Yo, if there's anything I can do for you, please don't hesitate to let me know. Thoroughly enjoyed the conversation, man.
Appreciate you, my guy.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, my guy.
No doubt. And likewise, man. You have a good one, man. God bless you, too, bro.
All right, take care.
And good luck with the diversity stuff.
Hey, man, I'm going to keep working on it, dog. And we're going to get what we're going to get.
Tell them white folks I said what's up.
I will.
All right, man. Have a good one, bro.
All right. Yeah.
And you already know, man. This has been Jobs. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. The whole nine. And shout out to M3S3, man, and Nerve DJs, man. You already know, man. Your talent gets you on the show, but it's your story that makes you stand out. On that note, I'm out. Y'all have